I knew that I liked being on set enough so that if everything else about it went away, the money and the fame, I would still like being on set.
Daniel Radcliffe, you will be well aware of the old narrative about child actors who, burn out or fade away. But here you are, sitting hale, hearty, unbelievably busy. How have you managed it when others didn't?
It's very hard to say, and I think a huge amount of it does obviously come down to my parents. It comes down to the other people, a lot of the people who I've already mentioned on Potter, who were able to give me enough perspective on my life and help me at key moments, that I've sort of stayed where I want to be. Honestly, I think the main thing I can attribute it to is that I loved being on set. I think a huge problem for people is that for a lot of people, they get into a situation where they start doing something when they're 10. They are committed for several years. They stop enjoying it. They are, by that point, the breadwinner for their family, so multiple people are now reliant on them continuing to do this job, and they feel pressured into it and forced into it, and then if they don't enjoy it, then they go, well, I will enjoy all the other things that this life gives me, even if I hate the work. So, I think that's why you can see people going to drugs. You can also just see people going to drugs and drink because it's fun and they're available and it seems like a good idea and there's nobody around you talking about the consequences or being honest with you about that. So I think there's all of that, and I think the fact that we did it in London, I spend time in LA now and I feel like I'm going insane. I don't know what it would be like to grow up in LA from the age of 10 and continue growing up there. I think the other thing that is hard about being famous when you're young is that you haven't figured out who you are yet, and if you are having a perception of your identity sort of reflected back at you by everyone else, where everyone else expects you to be a certain thing while you are still figuring out what you want to be, that can be really hard for people. But again, very fortunately, I knew that I liked being on set enough so that if everything else about it went away, the money and the fame, I would still like being on set and I would still want to do that in some way.
You've said you would quite happily die on a film set.
Yeah, film sets are the most incredible communal effort, and I got a taste for that young, and so I think that made all the other weird stuff about life more than worth it.